Stop for just a moment. Before you flush, before you turn away, before you let another ordinary routine slip by unnoticed, I want you to hear this. What you see in the toilet bowl is not meaningless. It is not something to ignore or rush past. In fact, it may be one of the earliest and most honest signals your body can give you about what is happening deep inside, long before pain appears, long before fatigue sets in, and long before any scan or blood test raises an alarm. Every single day, your body leaves behind a message. Most people never read it. They flush it away day after day, month after month, sometimes for years. And later, when something serious is finally discovered, many people say the same thing. I noticed changes. I just didn't think they mattered. Today, I want to help you understand why they do matter. As we get older, our bodies become quieter. They don't always shout when something is wrong. Instead, they whisper. Subtle changes, small differences, a pattern that slowly shifts. And one of the most overlooked places where these whispers appear is in your bowel movements. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because when you know what to look for, you gain time. And time is everything when it comes to serious illness. Your digestive system is not just a food processing tube. It is a living, responsive system connected to your immune function, your hormones, your metabolism, even your brain. What passes through it carries clues about how well your liver is working, how your pancreas is functioning, whether inflammation is present, and yes, whether there may be bleeding or obstruction happening silently. The remarkable thing is this. Many serious digestive conditions, including colorectal cancer, develop slowly. They don't announce themselves with dramatic symptoms at first. Instead, they leave small traces behind. Changes in shape, changes in color, changes in consistency, changes in frequency. Doctors have a simple tool to help describe these patterns, and it's something you can use too. It's called the Bristol stool scale. It classifies stool appearance into 7 types, ranging from very hard pellet-like stools to completely liquid diarrhea. It may sound unglamorous, but it's an incredibly powerful way to understand what your gut is doing. On one end of the scale are hard, dry pellets that resemble rabbit droppings. These indicate constipation. Stool has stayed in the colon too long, water has been absorbed out of it, and the colon is struggling to move things along. Constipation isn't just uncomfortable. Over time, it increases pressure inside the colon, worsens hemorrhoids, creates small tears, and fuels chronic inflammation throughout the body. On the other end of the scale is completely liquid stool. This means things are moving too quickly. The intestine isn't absorbing nutrients properly. Chronic diarrhea is never something to ignore, especially if it persists for weeks. It can signal infection, inflammatory disease, or deeper structural problems. Ideally, stool should be formed but soft, easy to pass, not painful, not urgent, and brown in color. That brown color matters more than most people realize. It comes from bile, a substance produced by your liver and stored in your gallbladder. Bile starts out greenish. As food moves through your intestines, bile changes chemically, turning brown by the time it exits. When you see that familiar brown, it usually means digestion is proceeding normally. But digestion isn't just about color or shape. Frequency matters too. Many people assume that going every few days is normal. For some, it may be. But in general, a healthy digestive system empties regularly. Ideally once a day, around the same time. When days go by without a bowel movement, or when a long-standing pattern suddenly changes, that deserves attention. Your bowel habits are influenced by hydration, fiber intake, physical activity, stress, medications, hormones, and the health of organs like the thyroid, liver, and pancreas. Sudden, unexplained changes are not random. They are signals. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked warning signs, especially in older adults: stool shape. Healthy stool typically has a thickness similar to a banana. When stool consistently becomes thin, narrow, or pencil-like, it can mean something is narrowing the passageway inside the colon. Sometimes this is due to muscle tension, low fiber intake, or benign conditions. But sometimes it can be due to a growth slowly occupying space where stool needs to pass. This is one of the reasons doctors pay close attention to shape changes that persist, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Another important sensation to notice is how you feel after going. A normal bowel movement brings relief, a sense of emptiness. When that feeling disappears, when you constantly feel like you still need to go even after you've just been, that can indicate incomplete emptying or inflammation inside the rectum or colon. There is even a medical term for the constant urge to go without relief. It's called tenesmus. And while it can be caused by several conditions, it should never be ignored, especially when it's new. Let's pause for a moment and talk about constipation because it's incredibly common with age. Muscles weaken, activity levels drop, thirst signals become less reliable. Many medications slow the gut. The result is a sluggish colon. One of the simplest ways to support bowel movement is hydration. A large glass of water first thing in the morning can stimulate the natural reflexes of the intestines. Throughout the day, steady fluid intake keeps stool soft and easier to pass. Fiber is equally important, but it must be increased gradually. Seeds like chia or ground flax, added to yogurt or oatmeal, provide gentle bulk. Fruits such as prunes, kiwi, apples with skin, and papaya support regularity naturally. Even a simple green juice made from celery, apple, and ginger can stimulate digestion. Now, diarrhea deserves just as much attention. Occasional loose stools happen, but diarrhea that lasts longer than 4 weeks is considered chronic. It can lead to dehydration, nutrient loss, weakness, and weight changes. Chronic diarrhea always has an underlying cause, whether it's inflammation, infection, medication effects, or structural disease. It needs investigation, not guesswork. Color changes are another critical clue. Green stool often isn't dangerous. It may simply mean food is moving through too quickly, or that you've eaten a lot of leafy greens. But pale, clay-colored, or whitish stool is different. When this persists for several days, it can indicate problems with bile flow, fat digestion, or the pancreas or liver. Floating stool by itself is usually not significant. It often just contains more gas. What matters is the overall pattern: consistency, frequency, shape, and change over time. And now we come to the most important warning sign of all. If your stool appears black, tarry, or resembles wet asphalt, this is a medical emergency. This type of stool, called melena, usually means bleeding higher up in the digestive tract. The blood has been partially digested, turning it black. This can be caused by ulcers, fragile blood vessels, severe inflammation, or internal bleeding, including bleeding from cancer. This is not something to watch and wait. If black tar-like stool appears, immediate medical attention is essential. Bright red blood is also serious. Blood on toilet paper, streaked on stool, or mixed in should never be dismissed. While hemorrhoids and small tears can cause bleeding, bright red blood can also come from polyps or colon cancer. The only way to know is to look properly. Blood in stool of any color is never normal aging. The good news is this: many of the most dangerous digestive conditions are also the most preventable when caught early. And that brings us to the power you have. Your body is giving you information every single day. When you learn how to read it, you stop being passive. You become proactive. You notice changes early. You act sooner. And that can make all the difference. This is not about becoming anxious or obsessed. It's about becoming aware. In the next part, we're going to talk about screening, movement, and why one simple test after midlife can literally prevent cancer before it starts. And then we'll dive deeper into how your gut bacteria quietly influence everything from immunity to energy to mental clarity. For now, just remember this: before you flush, take a look. Your body is speaking. The truth is, awareness alone is powerful, but action is what protects you. Once you understand the signs your body may be showing you, the next step is knowing how to reduce risk and catch problems before they become life-altering. And this is where many people hesitate, delay, or talk themselves out of doing what could quite literally save their lives. Let's talk about screening. One of the most effective tools modern medicine has ever developed for cancer prevention is the colonoscopy. Not because it finds cancer, but because it stops cancer from ever forming in the first place. That distinction matters. Colorectal cancer almost always begins as a small growth called a polyp. Polyps are usually benign at first. They don't cause pain. They don't make you feel sick. You can live with them for years and never know they're there, but over time some polyps change. They grow. They mutate. And slowly, silently, they can become cancerous. A colonoscopy allows doctors to see the inside of the colon directly and remove these polyps before they ever have the chance to turn dangerous. That's why this procedure is considered prevention, not just detection. Current recommendations advise that most adults begin screening around age 45 to 50, earlier if there is a family history of colon cancer or other risk factors. If the colonoscopy is completely normal, it often doesn't need to be repeated for 10 years. 10 years of peace of mind. Yes, the preparation is unpleasant. There's no sugarcoating that. The day before, you drink a solution that clears the colon. You spend time in the bathroom. It's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable. But compare that to months of chemotherapy, surgery, or the regret of wishing you had acted sooner. One day of discomfort can prevent years of suffering. Now, screening is only one part of the picture. Daily habits play an enormous role in how well your digestive system functions and how resilient it becomes over time. Movement is one of the most underrated forms of digestive medicine. Your intestines are lined with muscles that contract rhythmically to move waste forward. When you sit for long periods, those contractions slow down. The colon becomes sluggish. Stool dries out. Constipation sets in. You don't need intense workouts to fix this. Gentle, consistent movement is enough. Walking for 20 to 30 minutes a day stimulates intestinal motion. Light stretching, gardening, household chores, even standing up and moving regularly throughout the day can make a dramatic difference. Think of movement as a natural massage for your intestines. Hydration works the same way. As we age, our thirst signals weaken. Many older adults simply don't feel thirsty even when their bodies need water. The colon's job is to absorb water, and when there isn't enough fluid coming in, it pulls more water out of stool, making it hard and difficult to pass. Steady hydration throughout the day keeps stool soft and supports healthy elimination. Small, regular sips are better than large amounts all at once. And stopping fluids a couple of hours before bedtime can help avoid nighttime disruptions. Fiber deserves special attention, but with caution. Fiber feeds your gut bacteria and adds bulk to stool, but adding too much too quickly can cause bloating, gas, and discomfort. Gradual increases allow your system to adapt. Seeds, whole fruits, vegetables, oats, and legumes all provide fiber in forms your body recognizes. But digestion isn't just mechanical, it's biological. And that brings us to something many people have never been taught about, yet it influences nearly every aspect of health: your gut microbiota. Inside your intestines lives a vast ecosystem of trillions of microorganisms. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, all coexisting and interacting with your body every moment of every day. This ecosystem is not your enemy. It is one of your greatest allies when it's healthy. These microorganisms help digest fibers you cannot break down on your own. They produce essential vitamins, including certain B vitamins and vitamin K. They regulate inflammation. They train your immune system to respond appropriately. In fact, nearly 70% of your immune system is located in your gut. Your microbiota even influences mood and cognition. Many neurotransmitters, including serotonin, are produced in the gut. This is why digestive problems are often linked to anxiety, low mood, brain fog, and fatigue. When your gut ecosystem is balanced, digestion feels smooth. Energy levels improve. Immunity strengthens. But when that ecosystem is disrupted, a state called dysbiosis, problems begin to appear. Digestive discomfort, irregular bowel movements, increased infections, worsening inflammation, weight changes, mental fog, fatigue. Even increased cancer risk has been linked to long-term imbalance in the gut environment. So how do you protect this internal ecosystem? First, by avoiding unnecessary damage. One of the biggest disruptors of gut bacteria is antibiotics. Antibiotics save lives when used appropriately for bacterial infections, but they are often prescribed when they aren't truly needed, especially for viral illnesses they cannot treat. Every time you take antibiotics, you wipe out large portions of both harmful and beneficial bacteria. Recovery can take weeks or months. Sometimes the ecosystem never fully returns to its previous balance. That doesn't mean you should refuse antibiotics when they're necessary. It means you should use them thoughtfully, only when truly indicated. Second, you actively support your microbiota through food. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria you consume. The best sources are fermented foods that humans have eaten for thousands of years. Plain yogurt with live cultures. Kefir, a fermented milk drink rich in diverse strains. Sauerkraut, kimchi, and fermented vegetables. Kombucha, a fermented tea. Including even one serving of fermented food per day can support microbial diversity. Prebiotics are just as important. These are fibers that feed your beneficial bacteria. You don't digest them, your microbes do. And when they're well fed, they thrive. Prebiotic-rich foods include slightly green bananas, apples with skin, oats, onions, garlic, leeks, asparagus, seeds, legumes, and a wide variety of vegetables. Diversity matters. The more varied your plant intake, the more resilient your gut ecosystem becomes. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Now let's return to the warning signs for a moment, because understanding risk also means knowing when to act immediately. We've already talked about black, tarry stool as a medical emergency, but bright red blood deserves equal respect, even if it appears only occasionally, even if it's painless, even if you assume it's hemorrhoids. Blood should never be ignored. Another subtle sign that deserves attention is unexplained weight loss. When weight drops without changes in diet or activity, especially alongside bowel changes, it warrants evaluation. Fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, anemia, persistent abdominal discomfort. These signs may be quiet, but together they form a pattern that should be investigated. None of this means panic. It means partnership with your body. The goal is not to live in fear of disease, but to live in awareness of health. To notice patterns, to respect changes, to respond early instead of late. This is especially important as we age because the stakes become higher, but so does our wisdom. You've lived long enough to know that ignoring problems doesn't make them disappear. It only gives them time to grow. The empowering truth is that many of the most dangerous digestive cancers are also the most preventable. When polyps are removed early, cancer never develops. When bleeding is investigated promptly, causes are treated before complications arise. When lifestyle habits support gut health, inflammation decreases and resilience increases. Your daily routines matter more than you think. What you eat, how you move, how much you drink, how often you pay attention. And something as simple as taking a few seconds to look before you flush can provide information no smartwatch or app ever could. In the final part, we're going to bring everything together. We'll talk about how small, consistent actions compound over time, how to build simple routines that support digestive health without overwhelm, and how to move forward with confidence rather than fear. Because this isn't just about preventing illness. It's about protecting your independence, your energy, and your quality of life for years to come. Your body has been communicating with you all along. In the next part, we'll make sure you know exactly how to listen and how to respond. By now, you can probably feel it. This isn't about memorizing medical terms or becoming hyper-focused on every detail. It's about developing a quiet, steady awareness of your body and honoring the signals it gives you. When you do that, something powerful happens. Fear fades, confidence grows. You stop reacting late and start responding early. And that shift alone can change outcomes. One of the most important things to understand is that health is rarely lost all at once. It erodes gradually through small ignored signals and delayed action. In the same way, health is rarely rebuilt overnight. It returns through small, consistent choices made day after day. This is where people often feel overwhelmed. They think protecting their health means drastic diets, complicated routines, or constant medical appointments. But the truth is far simpler and far more encouraging. Your digestive system thrives on rhythm. Regular meals, regular movement, regular hydration, regular elimination. When your body knows what to expect, it works more efficiently. Stress hormones decrease, inflammation settles, digestion becomes smoother, energy improves. One of the easiest ways to support this rhythm is to respect your body's natural urges. When you feel the need to go, don't delay it. Ignoring the urge trains your colon to become less responsive over time, leading to constipation and incomplete emptying. Make time. Create a calm, unhurried environment. This isn't wasted time, it's maintenance. Posture matters too. Sitting with your feet flat on the floor isn't the most natural position for elimination. Elevating your feet slightly, even on a small stool, straightens the rectal angle and allows stool to pass more easily, reducing strain and pressure. Straining is not normal. It's a sign something needs support. Stress also plays a significant role in gut health. Chronic stress activates the nervous system in a way that slows digestion, alters gut bacteria, and increases inflammation. Many people notice their bowel habits change during stressful periods, becoming irregular, uncomfortable, or unpredictable. Simple stress reduction practices can have a surprisingly positive effect on digestion. Slow breathing, gentle walks, time outdoors. Even a few minutes of calm before meals can shift your body into a state where digestion functions better. Eating in a rush, distracted, or tense tells your body that now is not a safe time to digest. Slowing down sends the opposite message. Chewing thoroughly is another overlooked habit. Digestion begins in the mouth. When food is well chewed, the stomach and intestines have an easier job. This reduces bloating, discomfort, and irregularity. As we age, we also need to be more mindful of medications. Many commonly prescribed drugs affect bowel function. Pain medications, antacids, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, and supplements like iron or calcium can all contribute to constipation or changes in stool. If you notice a change after starting a new medication, bring it up with your healthcare provider. Sometimes simple adjustments can make a significant difference. Now let's talk about one of the most important mindset shifts of all. Do not normalize symptoms just because you're getting older. Aging does not automatically mean constipation, bleeding, chronic diarrhea, pain, or exhaustion. These are signals, not inevitabilities. When people assume symptoms are just part of aging, they delay evaluation. And delay is the enemy of prevention. You deserve clarity, you deserve answers, you deserve care. One of the most empowering habits you can develop is tracking changes. You don't need charts or apps, just awareness. Notice patterns. Has frequency changed? Has shape changed? Has color changed? Has the feeling after elimination changed? Have these changes lasted more than a few weeks? Patterns matter more than isolated events. If something persists, bring it up. Advocate for yourself. Ask questions. Screening tests exist for a reason, and they are far more effective when used proactively rather than reactively. Let's return briefly to the idea of colonoscopy, because fear often surrounds it unnecessarily. The procedure itself is usually short. Sedation is provided. Most people remember very little. The real challenge is the preparation, and even that is temporary. What's permanent is the benefit. When a polyp is removed, cancer is prevented, not detected. Prevented. Few medical interventions are that powerful. And if something abnormal is found early, treatment is simpler, outcomes are better, and quality of life is preserved. This is not about expecting bad news, it's about ensuring good news. Now consider the role of nutrition in long-term digestive health. Highly processed foods tend to be low in fiber and high in additives that disrupt gut bacteria. Over time, this weakens the gut environment. Whole foods support it. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds. These foods don't just provide nutrients, They provide information to your gut ecosystem, encouraging balance and resilience. Variety is key. Eating the same foods every day limits microbial diversity. Introducing different colors, textures, and plant types feeds different beneficial organisms. This diversity is linked to lower inflammation and better immune regulation. Protein matters too. Adequate protein supports tissue repair, immune function, and muscle strength, which becomes increasingly important with age. Choose sources that agree with your digestion and balance them with fiber-rich foods. Fats should not be feared. Healthy fats support bile production and nutrient absorption. Olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish contribute to digestive health when consumed in moderation. Alcohol deserves mention as well. Excessive alcohol irritates the gut lining, disrupts bacteria, and increases bleeding risk. Moderation is essential, especially for digestive health. Sleep is another silent partner in gut function. Poor sleep alters hormone regulation, increases inflammation, and disrupts bowel patterns. Prioritizing regular sleep supports digestion more than most people realize. All of these habits work together. None of them need to be perfect. What matters is consistency. Now let's bring everything together. Your digestive system is not separate from the rest of your body. It influences immunity, energy, mental clarity, and overall resilience. When it struggles, the effects ripple outward. When it's supported, everything benefits. Paying attention to stool is not strange. It's practical, it's informed, it's responsible. Before you flush, look. Notice the color. Notice the shape. Notice the consistency. Notice the frequency. Notice how you feel afterward. If something changes and doesn't return to normal, take it seriously. Not fearfully. Seriously. Seek evaluation. Ask questions. Get screened. Adjust habits. Support your gut. These actions don't just reduce cancer risk. They protect independence. They protect vitality. They protect time. And time, more than anything, is what early awareness gives you. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of chance. You have daily access to information your body is providing freely. When you learn to read it, you gain control. Start today. With your next meal, with your next walk, with your next glass of water, with your next trip to the bathroom. Small actions, repeated consistently, create profound change. Your health is your most valuable asset. Treat it with attention. Treat it with respect. And treat it with the care it deserves. Thank you for staying with me through this conversation. If this information has helped you, share it with someone you care about, especially those over 50 who may not realize how important these signs can be. Awareness saves lives, prevention preserves them, and it all begins with paying attention.